Hello everyone. A very good morning to our beloved senior Surya Karla and good evening to respected Shravan sir, and good morning to all my seniors and my dear friends. Myself Nishita from first year food technology, and today I'm going to host this session, and it's my pleasure to be a moderator for this session. I warmly welcome you all for this event. So let us start the session with a prayer song by Apurva. Over to you, Apurva.
Good evening, Shravan sir, and good morning, everyone. ॐ सर्वाणि ॐ रुद्राणि ॐ आयानि वन्दनम् ॐ कल्याणि ॐ ब्रह्माणि ॐ गीर्वाणि वन्दनम् ॐ सर्वाणि ॐ रुद्राणि ॐ आर्यानि वन्दनम् ॐ कल्याणि ॐ ब्रह्माणि ॐ गीर्वाणि वन्दनम् पावनी जीवतरणी పాపసంతాపహరణి నీ కృపా చైత్రసుధని మా పైన వర్షించని శాంభవి లోక జనని త్రిభువనానందకారిణి చింతలావంత గణని చిరుశాంతి విరసిల్లని శ్రీ చక్రాన అమ్మ వయ్యున్న ఆది నారాయణి నీ వాత్సల్యమాస్వాదించని మనసుని ఓం సర్వాణి ఓం రుద్రాణి ఓం ఆయాని వందనం ఓం కళ్యాణి ఓం బ్రహ్మాణి ఓం గీర్వాణి వందనం సజ్జన రంజని దుర్జన భంజని ధర్మ శిరోమణి హైమవతే సత్య సుభాషిని నిత్య సుహాసిని సరసజహాసిని శాంభుసతే విశ్వ వినోదిని భక్త ప్రమోదిని భాగ్య ప్రదాయిని శాంతిమతే ఆత్మవిలాసిని ఆర్తభరాయని అమృతవర్షిణి వేదవతే శూలధారిణి శిలవిహారిణి మా పాహి దేహి చిదానందరూపిణి ఓం సర్వాణి ఓం రుద్రాణి ఓం ఆర్యాని వందనం ఓం కళ్యాణి ఓం బ్రహ్మాణి ఓం గీర్వాణి వందనం. Thank you.
Thank you, Apurva, for your melodious song. Now let us get into. I am so fortunate to tell about Suryannaya and his accomplishments at this younger age. So now I'm going to give a brief information about Suryannaya. Suryannaya has completed his schooling in Ramadevi Public School, ICSC, and completed his intermediate in SRM Junior College, and now studying BTech in University College of Technology, Usmania University, fourth year chemical engineering. Suryannaya principle is to learn as you go. Suryanya has been an integral part of ESEL from the past 3 years and has inspired many of the students with his versatile work ethic and skill set. He is known for his academic capability, clarity of thought, consistent attitude, and his unique way of expressing things effectively. During the past 3 years, there were many remarkable achievements like authoring 2 books, creating an internship team that will look after providing internships to UG students from first year by connecting with many companies, etc. The book, How to Learn Chemical Engineering in 100 Problems and Be Industry Ready Using Pro 2 Simulation Software, was written and composed under his leadership within a 45 days time limit with a team of 7. This unique attempt to make the students learn chemical engineering in the best way by imposing conceptual learning simulation interface has become a feather in his cap, which made many colleges like Amrita University, NIT Warangal, GMR Institute of Technology, JNTU Anantapur call for giving presentations in their colleges. He has developed a great skill in presenting and conveying his ideas to others in an impactful way that has made him stand in winner position in Indian Institute of Chemical Engineering model making and Indian Institute of Chemical Engineering quiz competition, Techno Usmania 2019 model making. Many were impressed with his passion for learning and problem solving, starting from an intern in the first year at Baba Atomic Research Center to a summer intern at prestigious IIT Hyderabad. With his strong grip on the fundamentals of chemical engineering concepts, Suryanna has been an teacher and a facilitator to many of the peers and juniors, and always support them to learn more. Recently, one more book called The Pioneer Edition in the Voices of Alumni series was published under his authorship with a team of 3. He is an active participant in youth empowerment session, Yes Plus, organized by Art of Living Foundation. He has developed a special interest over simulation and has started simulation software like Pro 2, Aspen Plus, ANSYS, console, MATLAB, and spends his free time in problem solving and in trying to digest more interesting concepts of chemical engineering. Apart from the technical skills, Suryanya is a strong leader with an accountable attitude who always thinks of providing values to others with his knowledge, positive attitude, punctuality, self discipline, and a goal oriented mindset, and his added assets. And now Suryanya got a fellowship in two top universities in USA. And first of all, getting a fellowship is very difficult. But Suryanya made it possible in this pandemic situation, and it's a very great thing, Suryanya. And you all inspired us,
Thank you very much,
and
Nishit, for
and all
please
and
go
all
on.
the best and all the best for your glorious future, Anaya. And once again, I congratulate for your achievement, and I wish you to achieve many more things in your future, Anaya. And now what I would like to start with one question, Anaya. How would you feel when you got this fellowship, and how was your experience at that present situation, Anaya? At that situation, can you explain it, Anaya?
Sure, Nishita. First of all, thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. And good evening, Shravan sir. Good morning, Sriram sir, and all my friends. So, coming back to your question, Nishita, uh, as soon as I got to know that I have received a fellowship, the first thing that was in my mind is, yes, we did it. We as a team, we believed in it, and now we did it. It was a great sense of achievement. But what made it more special was celebrating with you yesterday. That was even more special.
Thank you, Anaya. And how did you get that fellowship, and how did you work hard? Can you tell us, Anaya?
Yes, Nishita. So getting the fellowship was a long process, and it takes small steps in a consistent way. So the key elements in the process were projects, using the learn as you go principle, having such a wonderful team and interacting with them, creating and managing a network, and having wonderful mentors. So uh, I through ESL I came to know that the best way to learn is through projects, because when we are doing a project we have an intent to learn because we need to finish something, and I think that drives us a lot to learn. And coming to the team, uh, having such a wonderful team, you there is no point where we can feel low. Even if you're feeling low, instantaneously with the help of our team, we'll be feeling great again. And this team helps us in creating a network, managing a network, which doing alone is extremely difficult. It is not even possible to build a network by on yourself. But being a part of the team, it becomes very easy. And in a team there are people with who excel in their own skills, and by interacting with them, watching them day in day out, you get to learn a lot. And you when you start inculcating their skills in your life, uh, it is going to take us a long way. And I'm fortunate to have such a wonderful team. Coming to the mentors, um, the mentorship of Shravan sir has been one of the greatest blessings of my life. And since day one, sir believed that I could get a fellowship. Sir believed that coming to USA with a scholarship is the best way. And when someone believes so much in an idea, it is very contagious. Over time, you start believing in that idea. And when the team, everyone around me started believing in that idea, and the belief became very strong. Yes, as Vinay said, the dream was put in all our dreams, all our brain. So uh, when we want something very badly, we are going to get it. That is it, Nishita.
Okay, Annaya. How did you prepare for your GRE exam, Annaya? Can you tell us?
Coming to the GRE exam, I came to know that the GRE exam is going to be important, but it is not going to be as important as the other set of skills which we can develop and which will strengthen our resume. So I wanted to spend not more than 2 months for my GRE. Uh, so I took a GRE mock test to see where I was standing, and I came to know that I needed practice in maths and needed to brush up my concepts, and I had a lot of work to do in verbal section. So I bifurcated my time according to the results of the mock test and started working consistently for 55 days. And I used GregMat, which was a website suggested by Sai. It was a really fantastic website, and the way they explain the strategies to answer the questions makes everything very easy. And in between, I took 3 to 4 mock tests to see where I was standing again. And one of the most important things is to, after you take a mock test, it is important that we review our mistakes and specifically work on them. And I did that too. And after 56 days, I took my GRE exam.
Thank you, Annaya. Like, how did you reach out to professors in college, Annaya?
Reaching out to professors is a very important thing uh, while applying to US. The first thing which I did was I went into the university website, and in the university website, I looked at the chemical engineering department. And in the chemical engineering department, some universities have the fields, various research fields, such as renewable energy, material science, fluid mechanics. So I looked at the work they were doing and what was going on, and I selected some few professors who were working in areas which I was interested in, and I started sending nice emails to them. I said that I wrote a short paragraph on my experience, that I have experience in CFD simulations in COMSOL, ANSYS, and I'm very interested in solving problems. And with this interest, I have also written a book along with my classmates on solving chemical engineering problems using Pro 2. In this way, I prepared a concise message, and I sent it to them. I sent such messages to around 70 professors, and after every week, I also sent a reminder message, and I got replies from about 15 professors, and most of them said that they were not having any open PhD positions in their lab. So usually, professors take PhD students into their lab if they have sufficient funding. So most of the professors said that there were no vacant positions for PhD students. But I received positive responses from 5 professors. And this was one way. And the most important way is that we communicate frequently. Since they're going to be very busy, sometimes they might not look at our message. So that doesn't mean that they're not interested in us. We need to give them more time, or give them a gentle reminder. And having a network helps in a big way. For example, Disha Ahuja ma'am, she is an RPI alumni. So she was able to send my mail to her professor, Professor Dardick. So in this way, the network is going to help a lot.
And how did you make decisions, Annaya, and who is supportive to you?
Support to me, everyone is a support to me. All my teammates, Shravan sir, my parents. Uh, I I I can discuss anything with anyone, and I consider everyone's opinions. I'm open to everyone, and everyone has a different perspective. Uh, it is important to consider all of them, but at the same time preserve our own thoughts.
Thank you, Annaya. If anybody has any questions, you can ask. Carry on.
Hello, good morning everyone and good evening to Shravan sir. So my question for Surya is that you manage studies, projects, and you help out other students also. So what are your time management techniques? And
Uh, Thank you, Hafsa. The main technique that I use is I always prepare a schedule for my day. I write down the things which I'm supposed to do in the day, and I try to finish off the most important things first. That's pretty much the planning that I do.
thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good evening, Shravan sir. My question is that what was the hardest decision you have ever taken in your life?
There were no hard decisions till now, Kushala, but I'm thinking very soon I'm going to have to make a really tough decision, choosing between the universities.
Thank you, Anna.
Surya, can we know the general scenario of the fellowships? Like, if you know the back end story on how it happens, like how rare it is to get fellowship for the past 15 years. If you know that, we'll come to know many more things, right? You got it? You got my question?
Yes, Vinay. So
Yes.
at the entire process, in a step-by-step
How hard it
process.
is?
Oh, difficult.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like on the other day, Shravan sir was telling me it's been 15 to 20 years that no student has got from that college. Yeah.
So getting admitted into a PhD program is difficult because we need to compete with applicants who might have job experience, who might have completed their MS, and moreover, most of the PhD programs are going to be fully funded. Uh, that means they're only going to pay for you only if they know that you're going to provide even more value to them than what they're paying. So it is important that we show them through our SOP or resume that we will be able to provide great value to them. And I think this is the most important part, and this is where our uh, having a support structure like our ESL is going to help us in a big way.
Yes, Surya, got it. Thank you.
Good evening, Shravan sir. Good morning, everyone. Anna, can you explain the process of this fellowship also?
Yes, Pavna. So uh, for NJIT, I wrote an email to Professor Sagnik Basurai, who was looking for PhD students to work on electrocatalysis. I wrote an email saying that I was very interested, and I attached my resume and wrote a concise message uh, showing that I was technically good. Then we had a conversation. Then Professor Sagnik Basrai said that he would like to interview me, and he asked me to prepare a 30 minutes presentation on my knowledge of process modeling and simulation. So I prepared the presentation, and I gave the presentation to the professor and three of his graduate students who are already working in his lab. After the presentation, I received a positive response, and the professor said he was willing to recommend my name to the admission committee of the college. So the admission committee of a department is going to make the final decision whether they would like to accept you or reject you. So he said he was going to recommend my name, and he asked me to apply to the PhD program in Department of Chemical Engineering at NJIT. So I went ahead and completed my application. So in the application, the important parts of an application are G, the statement of purpose, the letters of recommendation, the GRE and TOEFL score, and our transcripts, or the CGPA. The most important part is the statement of purpose, because the statement of purpose, it should be very powerful. It should have a great impact on the reader. It should be between, uh, it should be not more than 1500 words, and it should be very well balanced. And writing a statement of purpose is going to take a lot of time. And once again, the team support was incredible, was of incredible help in preparing the SOP. The team helped me review the SOP, make changes. They gave me excellent suggestions. And in this way, I was able to prepare a compelling SOP. Coming to the letters of recommendation, it is doing projects and doing internships and providing value to companies and organizations are going to create a very good impression. And the guides or the project advisors under whom we have done internships, they will be very happy to give wonderful letters of recommendation, and their letters are going to be of great value. And uh, the the other two parts are the GRE TOEFL scores and the official transcripts. So once the application was completed, I received a letter saying that I have been selected and offered a fellowship. This is how it happened. It happened for NJIT. Coming to Renaissance Polytechnic Institute, or RPI, I came to know about the university through Sethuraman Garu. Sethuraman Garu has been one of our greatest support to the ESL. And Sethuraman Garu gave me the contact numbers of Disha Ahuja ma'am and Anand Sethuraman Garu. And both of them were students at RPI. Disha Ahuja ma'am studied at CBIT, did her BTech at CBIT and PhD at RPI. Anand Sethuraman sir did his BTech at IIT Bombay and then went to RPI. So I interacted with them, got to know about how the procedure was going to, how the life was at RPI and how great RPI was. I was very inspired. Then I went to the RPI website and I got to know the research being done in various fields such as membrane technology and process simulation. And then after interacting with Disha Ahuja ma'am was able to forward my email to Professor Dordick and recommend me as a good hardworking student. And Professor Dordick said, he actually said that at that point of time, he was not sure about the admission process or about the student intake because of the COVID situation. But he suggested that I should apply to RPI. And then I went ahead and applied to RPI. A few months later, I came to know that Professor Belford, under whom Anand Sethuraman sir did his PhD, was giving a lecture at the ChemCon National Conference, which was conducted recently in December. And so I attended the talk, and it was a wonderful talk. I learned a lot, and I was able to instantly connect to the topic which he has spoken on. It was about membrane separation technology. And as soon as the talk was completed, I wrote an email to Dr. Georges Belfort saying that I summarized the talk, the main points, and how I was intrigued with what he has said. And in that way, I was able to connect with him. And I also mentioned that I was applying for PhD program at RPI, and I was very interested to be a part of his research group. Then I received a very encouraging response from Dr. Georges Belfort. He said he sent me an entire research paper of his, and I was very happy with the response. I studied the research paper, made notes, and once again I summarized the entire research paper and the things which I found very interesting, and sent him an email again. And this time he sent me a message saying thanking me for my comments on his paper and asked me about my class rank and my GPA. I sent my class rank and GPA, and he and the conversation stopped there, and there was about and he said that he mentioned that he was not he at RPI the professors do not take direct decision on whom to take admit into their research group. So there is a admission committee or an admission panel which consists of 6 to 7 people who sit together and make a decision on whether a student is suitable for RPI or not. And he said that he was not part of the committee, and he mentioned that if I was admitted, he would be happy to work with me. Then after about a month or about month, uh, I wanted to uh, remind Dr. Belfort in a polite manner and once again show him that I was really interested in being a part of his research group. So, in order to communicate with him, I remembered a point that during his talk, he mentioned a book called A Research Agenda for Separation Science. So I thought I should read the book. I read the book. I went through it. It was a fantastic book which outlined the scope of further research in the area of separation, and I I I took some of the points and I made them into a concise paragraph and sent an email to Professor Belfort saying, "I thank you for sharing this book, and it has really helped me a lot in understanding what the future scope is going to be for separation science. And I know that at RPI there is expansive work being conducted in the field of membrane separation, and I'm very interested to be part of your research group." And once again, I received a very nice email from Dr. Belfort. Once again, he asked me for my GPA and my class rank. I sent it to him, and 3 days later, I received an admission decision from RPI.
Uh, Thank you so much, Anna. It was a brief outline. Anna, when did you start all these procedures? Like, how much time did you take?
I I started contacting the professors from the first week of November. I took my GRE exam in the first week of October and my TOEFL exam in the last week of October. And I started filling up all my applications from the second week of November.
అన్నయ్య లైక్ జనరల్గా పిహెచ్డి కావాలి అంటే ఇట్ టేక్స్ సమ్ టైం కదా నార్మల్లీ. మీకు 1 month టైంలో మీరు అంత ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ గ్యాదర్ చేసుకోగలిగారు, లైక్ వాళ్ళకి మెయిల్స్ రాయగలిగారు, అంత ఈజీ పని ఎలా అయిపోయింది అంటే 1 month టైంలో?
One thing, Deepthi, I didn't do it all by myself. See, because I had such a wonderful team, everybody were contributing to it. They were giving me suggestions. Surya, look at this university. They have this program. Nikilanaya was sending messages. They are working in hydrogen production. This might interest you. Vinay Anna was speaking to many other people and suggesting me websites for scholarship. These schools have scholarship. And Triveni, Shivani, Tejasri, everybody were reaching out to people, trying to gather as much information as possible, and they were giving it to me. So in this way, it became a very seamless and easy procedure.
That's great to hear, Anna. All were working together for one success.
Yes, Deep.
అన్నయ్య ఇలా చెప్పారు లైక్ ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ ఆర్ ఇంటర్న్షిప్స్ అండ్ ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ ఆర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ అని అన్నారు కదా, లైక్ పిహెచ్డి చేయాలి అంటే. యా మీరు
Yes,
ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్లో ఇంటర్న్షిప్ చేశారు కదా, లైక్ వాట్ మేడ్ యూ టు డూ దాట్ అండ్ హౌ డిడ్ యూ రీచ్ అవుట్?
first year internship, I got the opportunity through Vinay, uh, and it was an opportunity that we received from Shravan sir to work under the guidance of Dr. Anand Rao sir, who is a scientist at Baba Atomic Research Center. So we to get before we went to the internship, we were given a small task of reading one of Anand Rao sir's research paper and trying to reproduce the same results using MATLAB. So MATLAB is a programming, high-level programming language. Vinay and I, we worked hard. Being in the first year, we were full of excitement. We wanted to learn. We wanted to make things happen, and we learned MATLAB with great enthusiasm. And we were able to successfully write the code. And we went to the internship. We came to know about the world of simulation during the BARC internship because we were working on computational fluid dynamics using COMSOL multiphysics. And we had a wonderful guide, Anand Rao sir, who helped us with each and every small doubt. And also Amit sir, who was also a scientist at BARC. He helped us a lot with the chemical engineering principles used in ore processing. And during the internship, we learned a lot about fluid dynamics, and we were able to see the practical applications. So that really piqued our interest in chemical engineering. And most importantly of all, the greatest outcome of the BARC internship was my friendship with Vinay. And yes.
డూ లైక్ ఇలా ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్స్ని యాక్సెప్ట్ చేస్తా అంటే తీసుకుంటారా అన్నయ్య? లైక్ మెయిన్గా మేబీ థర్డ్ ఆర్ ఫోర్త్ ఇయర్ వాళ్ళని యాక్సెప్ట్ చేస్తారు అన్నట్టు విన్నాను.
Yes, Deepthi. So that is a misconception because they only want guarantee that you will be able to work hard and provide value to them. Other than that, it doesn't matter whether you're a first year student or a fourth year student. If you're a first year student and you're hungry, you have the desire to learn and provide best value, they will definitely take you.
థ్యాంక్ యూ అన్నయ్య.
Now, what was the hardest decision you have ever made?
So far, no hard decisions, Nivedita. All of them have been very easy. And I think very soon I will have to make one while choosing between the universities.
Yeah, no, yes, thank you.
Like, why did you choose going abroad rather than being in India?
I wanted to go to the US because, first of all, I wanted to explore the culture in the US, the different value system they have, and also it's a very beautiful country.
Anna, I have another question. You did summer internship at IIT Hyderabad. So how did you got that opportunity and what did you learn from the whole internship?
The IIT Hyderabad internship, I got the opportunity through our principal, Basara Garu, and one of our alumni, Dr. Narsimha Garu. He is the HOD of the chemical engineering department at IIT Hyderabad. So Basara sir recommended 6 students from our class, and that's how we got into internship at IIT. And we worked on Nikhil and I worked on computational fluid dynamics simulation of fluidized bed. So fluidized bed is one of the unit operation in chemical engineering, which has a wide range of applications. We worked on how we can simulate the entire experiment in using a software called ANSYS Fluent. and we wanted to compare the experimental results and the results obtained by computer simulation.
Thank you, Anand.
Good morning, Sriram sir. Can you give some thoughts?
Good morning to all. So, very, very warm welcome to all. I'm so happy to be part of this interaction. And a lot of names that I have not seen before, I guess because they may not be in some of those green, red, blue houses and all that. But I hope to meet you soon. First thing, when it comes to the star of today's show, Surya, is I know you all surely would know about the playback singer Sonu Nigam, right? Everybody would have heard of him. So there's a very famous, popular video of his. He's known to be an amazing mimic. So he does these mimicry of other artists and all. He's really, really talented in that regard also. And so there's a famous video where they just want him to imitate other singers and talk about his fellow artists and all that. And he does that. In that, I remember one particular segment where he talks about his artist, and he talks about a senior artist, which the person you may not have heard of. His name is Suresh Wadkar. He's more from our generation than from your generation. But when he talks about him, there's one sentence that still keeps ringing in my mind. He says in Hindi, सुरेश जी उनकी तैयारी इतनी बढ़िया होती है, वो क्या बताएं उनके बारे में. So he says, जब कोई परफॉर्मेंस करने के लिए आएंगे, मानो एक हफ्ते भर दिन में 10 घंटे वो तैयारी करते हैं, 10-12 घंटे आसानी से. So he says, ऐसे डेडिकेशन हमने कभी नहीं देखा जिंदगी में, किसी के कोई भी आर्टिस्ट हमने नहीं देखा ऐसा. वो शायद करेंगे प्लेबैक सिंगिंग के रिकॉर्डिंग स्टूडियो में जाएंगे, वहां पे तैयारी करेंगे. बट सुरेश जी जो है रिकॉर्डिंग के पहले घर पे इतना तैयारी करते, क्या बताएं उनके बारे में. सो दिस coming from someone who's like at least 20 years younger, so Sonu Nigam really appreciated the value of that. A resume cannot be built overnight. It cannot be built the day before your interview, the day before GRE, the day before you contact your professor in the US, the day before a GATE exam, the day before admissions to a master's or PhD program. It's years of effort. So when I think of Surya, that is what comes to mind. उनकी तैयारी इतनी अच्छी होती है. He puts in that effort. When we see the end result, we'll all be thinking, wow, it's so nice, and we might be motivated, but we have to appreciate the hard work and the dedication that goes into it. It is not one night, one day. And I think that level of commitment is what is showing now in the result. So definitely wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question, Anya. Good morning, Sriram sir. Good evening, Shawn sir. Hi, Anya. Congratulations, Anya, for your achievement. Really happy for you. Anya, can you please tell me how to prepare for GRE, Anya? What are the main points to remember? Like, what are the main concepts, and what is the main qualities to have to get a good score in GRE?
I'll give you a very brief outline, Soumya, and I will share you a link which will contain all the GRE material and my thoughts about the GRE in detail. So the first thing is you need to take a mock test to know what are your strengths, weakness, and what are the areas you need to concentrate more on. And then you need to use good sources, selected sources, and practice questions and practice them daily. And you need to try strategies and see whether they are working. If they are not, you need to change the strategy. And repeated practice and taking mock tests. This is the according to me, this is the best way to get a good GRE score.
Thank you, Anya.
So, Anya, after doing these many internships and projects, what are your interests now? In which fields?
I am interested in a broad range of fields, Vibhikta. I have not narrowed down onto any point. So I'm interested in each and every subject which I have come across so far. So there is no specific area of interest.
So, first of all, congratulations again, Surya. Tremendous achievement.
Sir, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go.
Sir, this question is for you. Like, we want to know your thought process behind this. అసలు ఎప్పుడు వచ్చింది ఐడియా? How did you formulate it? How you plan to convey it to every one of us? అది మా బ్రెయిన్స్ అందరిలో పెట్టేశారు కదా సార్. సో వి ఆల్ వాంట్ టు నో దట్ స్టోరీ.
ఓకే,
అంటే మనం చేసిన అవర్ స్టోరీ ప్రెజెంటేషన్స్ ఇవన్నీ ద వన్ అండ్ ఓన్లీ రీజన్ వాజ్ సూర్య బిహైండ్ ఇట్ కదా. సో అవన్నీ.
Okay, I will do that. So I'll tell you a few things. Okay, first thing is, when the ESOL program was started, the whole thing was, what is a individual student's goals and how can we support them using their strengths, understanding their strengths and weaknesses. Okay, we wanted to create a atmosphere where people respect each other, people support each other, people see beauty and greatness in each other. So that was the whole thing. So it was very clear when Surya said, hey, I want to do PhD. I mean, he said he wanted to go to US. That was what he said. And anyway, Surya, you can correct me, but that is how I remember. And then I said, Surya, just going for a master's is not worth it. Master's doesn't do anything at all. Going for a PhD makes sense. There are many reasons why PhD makes sense. One is master's really doesn't let you get into research. It doesn't let you get into the depth of anything. And at this point of time, pretty much everyone is getting a bachelor's degree. Okay. And so now computers are taking over pretty much everything, right? So the only thing that differentiates one person from the other is the micro specialities. The more you specialize, the more you become important. So I told Surya, it is really important for you to think about being a micro specialist. And you can be a micro specialist in many areas. You can say, I will be a micro specialist in membrane separation for 10 years. And then, I'm done with membrane separation. I want to do, process simulation. I want to get into that. So, you can do that. So you can do many things. So I told him about how to think about it from a PhD level. And he said, he really wanted to do research. And so that's how, we started thinking about a PhD in US in January of 2018. So the process got started then. And, because everything is small steps, time is always your friend. So you got to, if you don't get something done, it's okay. You didn't get it done. You can get it done tomorrow. Get it done tomorrow. And, slowly do it. Instead of being frustrated, saying, oh my God, I'm not at US yet. I don't have a CGPA of 9.0. Or I don't know, I can't seem to understand how to, I'm not able to learn all these words for GRE. We all start at zero. Everyone, even Surya started at zero. It's that small steps taking consistently over long periods of time. Sometimes some people can get it in 4 years to go to US. Some might take 5 years. Some might take 6 years. So you got to be patient with yourself, saying, this is my goal, I'm going to reach there. So Surya was, and then so we started looking at, because my son was also, doing bachelor's here and he was going to go to master's. So we were already in the frame of mind of how the, process works. So it is the you have to show that you have some skills. No one is going to give you a scholarship unless until they are going to get some advantage or value out of you, right? It's always that way. Everything is that way, right? So we wanted to show that Surya is providing value. So then we started the path of projects. And there were many reasons on projects. One is, obviously the resume building. And the second is, when you are working on a project with other people, you're learning communication skills. You're learning building relationships. Your friendships get actually stronger when you work on a project together. When you work on a project together, both of you are looking at the goal, not at each other. When you look at each other, life is actually harder. When you both look at a goal together, you actually have more fun together. So projects help you to create strong friendships. And friendships are really important in life. And that will help you a lot over. You can get into a PhD program, but not have a single friend. And then you really don't have the emotional quotient, or you don't have the happiness that you will get if you have few good friends with you. Okay? So the projects will build that for you. So 2 reasons, right? We did that. So we started getting into projects from day one again. And again, everything is, when we started doing it, everyone was saying, this is not possible, this is not possible. Everyone was like, no, you can't do research work in first year. We obviously wanted to disprove everything, right? So we just said, okay, it's okay, we'll try. So we went on doing one at a time. And slowly, now by now, the companies are really interested in you, which they were not interested, 3 years ago. Okay. And then once we started this, once Surya started getting into the GRE, and we knew he was doing the GRE, now we needed to figure out how to leverage our network. We developed an immense network over the last 3 years. We did so many Thop talks. We sent many gratitude cards to hundreds of people, right? To alumni and all of these. So we wanted to figure out a way to leverage those contacts to get Surya to any way we can reach out to the alumni, to the professors or the alumni community or something like that. So that during that process, what we did is we don't want to beg anyone. Begging doesn't work. Even though sometimes it might work a little bit, but usually begging doesn't make you confident. Begging doesn't really, it's not powerful. So we wanted to show what Surya and the whole ESL team has done over the last 3 years. So that's when we started something called the Our Story, video calls. So we invited all these people whom we met, whom we knew, and said, hey, join our Story video call. We want to tell you our story, which we did for 3 years. And then our story started getting, the students, people started getting to know Surya, people started to getting to know ESL. Okay. And so there was a lot of positive energy that was coming towards us, and that was helping us too. So has, all those connections really helped Surya? Not really. We probably got maybe 10% help from there. 90% was pretty much Surya being Surya, where he was applying to calling all these professors, when he did the Dr. Belforte's AIC, ChemCon, when he attended that, he got the idea of RPI from Sethuraman Garu. But then he used that idea to move forward. He said, okay, when he saw the presenter was Dr. Belforte from RPI, he said, okay, let me pay more attention to this. And he did that. Okay. So so this was like a really thought out process, which, I mean, we didn't really know every step of the process, but we were definitely thinking about making this happen 3 years before, in January of 2018. And so we had a lot of fun doing this, right, Surya?
Yes, sir.
We really, so I think the overall thing which I want you to get out of this is start now. Keep learning every single day. Enjoy your day. I mean, the results will happen. Some results will happen, some results won't happen. But if you enjoy today, even if the results don't happen, it doesn't matter much, right? Do you agree?
Yes,
but
sir.
if you don't enjoy today, and if you don't get the proper results, that is even more depressing. But if you enjoy today, the chances are you will get a result. Sometimes it might take, like I said, time is your friend. Sometimes it might take 1 year to get it. Sometimes you might take 3 years to get it. Sometimes it might take 6 years to get it. But you are enjoying the whole 6 years. You can't lose, right? So I really want you to get to do those small steps from now onwards, okay? So that way you can get there. Surya, Vinay, did I answer your question or not? Or do you need some? Go ahead.
You told it perfectly, sir. You covered everything. Thank you.
Can I share a couple of thoughts?
Yes, sir.
I remember that when we have groups, like friends groups, classmates, and so on, peer influence can be quite significant. And one of the things that commonly happens is, suppose somebody comes and says, hey, this teacher told me that if you learn .NET or XML programming or something, it'll be useful for you, it might be useful. And then somebody else in the group might say, oh, but that's so boring here. And then everybody else say, yeah, it's boring, it's boring. Now, this is called peer influence. From the last at least 35 years that I can recall of my life, I have not felt bored even once. I can tell you honestly, not even once. And that's because I've had this belief in my mind that if you are bored, it means you're a boring person. And I think there is so much to do in life. There's so much to do. We just don't have time. So I can't understand anybody saying that they are feeling bored. It just means they have stopped using their mind. They've limited themselves. And I think if we can adapt this, we will never say this subject is boring, that subject is boring. It only means we have decided in our minds that we are going to put a wall between ourselves and our learning. We have constructed a wall. It just takes a snap of a finger and we can break that wall. There's nothing more to it. And so when somebody had asked Surya about about this learning aspect, it's there is no such thing as I decided today I'm going to sit down and identify my areas of interest and so on. These are all conditionings, either by friends or by teachers or by society or by media or by family. These are all conditionings. Why limit ourselves to thinking that I am interested only in this and that? If we are open-minded, everything is going to be interesting. What is fundamentally important is the love for learning. That when that comes, every moment is a joy. Every moment is a joy. You can sit in a bus, and I remember so many times being fascinated simply looking at a signboard or an advertisement. Or there's so much that you can get out of it. You can look at the patterns. You can look at the artistry of a signboard, etc. It's endlessly fascinating. I used to do this exercise in class where I used to ask the entire class to just look at the blackboard. These days, I think these green boards are a little common, but anyway, blackboard. I said, we are going to spend the next 10 minutes describing this blackboard. I want you to tell me whatever you can about what you see there. And naturally, initially, people will be like, this guy has gone crazy. What is he talking? What is there to talk about? There's a blackboard. That's all. End of story. Start, end, over. And then slowly, I make them uncomfortable by staying silent. I said, I'm not going to leave this hall until you start talking. So then slowly some things start coming. They'll say, oh, there is a wooden frame around it. Okay, good. And then they'll say, I see some nails on the board at the corners. And then somebody says, but that wooden frame consists of 4 different pieces. And these 4 different pieces are of different lengths. And it looks like the wooden frames have been varnished at some point of time, but the varnish has worn away. And then somebody else says the edges have some metal clips to fix the frame to the wall. And then somebody says, oh, those metal frames are rusted. Now you can see how this can go on and on and on. And we have missed 10,000 things by simply fixing our attention, saying there is a blackboard and there's nothing to it. There's nothing more there. Who says that? It's just that we didn't see, we were blind. This is the extent when we say that I am interested in this subject is dull, this subject is boring. Walls, all walls that we have constructed. So same way, whether it is during COVID time or any other time, it doesn't matter. Simply because we are at home and limited here, there's tons and tons of things to do. And I find that there are some unfortunate side effects of limiting ourselves. I'll give you some examples. I find that often my students will come and ask, sir, what is your email ID? And I find it so strange that the student would be capable of searching for any and every movie and TV series and Korean soap opera and all that, but it doesn't strike that person to simply Google my name. It doesn't strike that person to simply go to the department website and see faculty names, contact address is given, email is given, designation is given, everything is given there. But it will not strike them. But they will be able to hunt out all the Korean soap operas. So now you see, this is all conditioning. All conditioning. We have to break out of that somehow. There is so much, such a treasure and wealth of information out there. There's such a diversity of learning opportunities out there. Somehow we have to break away from our shackles, the mental shackles, and see how much tremendous opportunity there is for learning. So when we do this, we will understand that every subject is connected to every other subject. And this is why we used to have curriculum designed in such a way that it includes humanities, it includes general engineering, it includes mathematics, natural sciences, it includes life sciences, it includes social sciences. Why is this? Because our brain patterns are established with these, all these subjects are connected. And in the old days, they used to, talk about this PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. If you think about the word philosophy, now the other part is doctor. Doctor, if you go back to the etymology, the origins of it, the meaning is exactly the same as teacher. A doctor and teacher are exactly the same, the way they originated. Both of them have this meaning, somebody who gives instructions. Somebody who gives instructions. A teacher is giving instructions about some subject. A doctor is also giving instructions, maybe about the subject of lifestyle, about how to maintain your health, about how to overcome an ailment. They are giving instructions precisely. Both of them have the same thing. Now that we understand, doctor, somebody who gives instructions, and philosophy. Philo, the Greek word means love of. Sophos means wisdom. And so now you are saying love of wisdom, somebody who can give instructions with love of wisdom. Now, where is the question of physics? Where is the question of mathematics, biology, social science, etc.? Is wisdom restricted to one such subject? Absolutely not. Wisdom requires everything. Right? This is the broadest sense when we think of learning, education, in its broadest sense, it requires everything, and every subject is interconnected. So that's why when we look at the way the world is moving, it's a very unfortunate direction where PhD, they used to say it's become so super specialized. It's like saying I'm going to study the springtime diseases of the hind right leg of a donkey in Ethiopia when there is the severest drought in the 19th century, something like that. Oh my God, why do we have to build such walls? Right? So the idea behind a PhD is not that. It is about developing that love for acquiring wisdom. So today, if we have to go forward and really benefit from a PhD, definitely we should keep in mind that learning is by its very nature interdisciplinary. And if we appreciate that, then definitely every step of that journey is going to be a joy. So what Surya is facing now in terms of this journey ahead, I would say it is going to be so exciting because he has that open-mindedness and that he's acquired either naturally or with the benefit of mentors like Shravan sir. Somehow he has acquired that. And so that is what is, you can see that whatever he's taking up, he's enjoying doing that. I think that is most important. In fact, I would say the greatest accomplishment in his life is not about getting a PhD in the US. It is about the fact that he has that love for learning. Because then every moment is a joy. He can be anywhere, whether it is in India or US, it doesn't matter. He's going to enjoy it. That is what is more important.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts.
So, Surya, do you want to say something? You've heard me talk, Sriram talk, and so anything you want to say about, how you actually, what do you think you can give suggestions to all of these, fantastic young women and men?
Sir, first of all, I would like to thank Sriram sir for beautifully describing the love for learning and how that should be one's goal, to have a love for learning. And I think that is the greatest suggestion anyone can give the students. That's all I have.
So I want to ask the students now, we all have been told learning is important, right? All through life. Now, even though I was told, I really learned because I was forced. I didn't really learn because I was excited. I learned because it was, if I don't get first rank, I was going to be in trouble. Okay. So because I was going to be in trouble, I really, really worked hard. And I realized if I was going to study anyway, I better enjoy it. And so I totally got lost in studies. I totally got interested in learning because that was the only way to make myself happy. So what is your thoughts after hearing Surya, me, Sriram talk? Can, some of you tell what are the thoughts that are going in your head?
So I just thought of remembering one thing. We should not do the things by others force. We need to do with our love, our interest, and our dedication. Like what we want to do, we should do that only. Not with the force of others, and not with thinking that what others may be thinking about us and all that. But we need to do what we want and give 100%. Like మనం ఏదైనా ఇష్టపడుతున్నాము అంటే దానికి ఖచ్చితంగా 100% ఇస్తాము. లైక్ మనకు నచ్చలేదు అన్నప్పుడు విల్ నాట్ కేర్ అబౌట్ దట్, ఈవెన్ దో వీ హ్యావ్ ఎబిలిటీ టు డూ దట్, బట్ విల్ నాట్ కేర్ అబౌట్ దట్. సో లైక్ ఐ జస్ట్ వాంటెడ్ టు టెల్ ఆల్ మై ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఆల్సో లైక్ దట్ మనం ఏది చేసినా మన ఇష్టంతో చేద్దాము. లైక్ వీ కెన్ డూ ఇట్ 100%. అదొకటే సార్.
Our mind really expanded this morning. It's like a morning motivation. What Sri Ram sir said, Suryana said, and Shravan sir, you all made our day today. It's like we got so much knowledge. I think you subconsciously inculcating all these love for learning or thinking with broad mindedness. All are doing it subconsciously. All these points are getting into our mind subconsciously. So
Nice.
I'm thankful to Shravan sir and Sriram sir and Surya Anna. The first thing I have in my mind is that like ESOL is a place where our interest matters, and we can do the things which we have a lot of interest in. And the first thing we have to remember is perseverance. That means strong determination, and also a lot of patience. We have to increase a lot of patience. Like by listening to all of them, I came to know that patience is the best and main key for the success. And that's it, sir. Thank you.
When Suryana said that he have written mails for 70 of lecturers and professors, like we are shocked how much patience like Sanna had to write mails for 70 members and again reminding them for a week or time. That's really great, sir. We can't do 5% of that also. We don't have that. We need to learn a lot.
Also, they are personalized mails, sir. I mean, every other professor have many, I mean, different fields and different interests which they
Yeah.
have. Yeah, I mean, it's a totally personalized 70 mails, sir. That's incredible.
So Vivikta and Deepthi, it is true, and it is also the first few emails are the hardest, but then you get into the flow. You develop, your mind creates a pattern in you, and you'll say, okay, now I have set a time, I am going to do this. You go there and you can borrow the sentences from the previous emails and start doing it. But the important thing, the biggest problem is you saying, developing those first few steps, developing the consistency of those first few steps. Because we'll say, do I need to really do this? Others are not doing it. Why should I do this? Why should I do it? Should have been answered long time ago. You should be saying, what do I want to do and how do I do it? Your question should be, what should be driving you is, how do I do it? Why should you do it should be so ingrained in you by then that how should you do it should be guiding you, right? So that is, but really, Surya, that is, what he did is fantastic. Sending 70 emails is not easy at all. My son was complaining here. He applied to, I think, 7 or 8. And for each application, I think he said he spent about 10 hours or, probably somewhere between 10 to 15 hours, I think. So that was 8 times 15. That was 120 hours. And he was like, that is too many hours, Daddy. So he was already getting concerned about the 120 hours. He hasn't even reached out to all these professors yet. But these hours add up. They do. Okay. Any other thoughts?
So I would like to say something.
Right.
After listening to the words of Sri Ram sir, Shravan sir, and Suryana, my perspective has broadened, and I have understood that I need to broaden it more through my interest, determination, and love for wisdom. As Sri Ram sir said, that is really important. So I like, it is our determination, our interest that leads us to it. If we are interested, then anything is possible. So yeah.
after I would like to say something, sir. After Shriram sir said about boring, I think now we'll be fearing to feel bored.
Yes.
Because, and one thing I've observed is we never felt bored last month from previous last month. We never felt bored.
One thing is, in terms of learning, you may find that if something comes easy to you, you will be feeling a little more motivated to take it up. And if something seems difficult, you may find it hard to motivate yourself. And this is a trick that life plays on you. Uh, Please be aware that when you step out of your comfort zone, it is basically like life uh, secretly gives a great treasure, but disguises it in terms of hard work. And so the things that are that look like the hardest to do will hold the greatest rewards. You time and again I have found, I have somehow, without really thinking about it, without being conscious of it, I've been blessed to step out of the comfort zone. Every time life seemed cushy, I actually broke it. I stepped out of it and made things difficult for myself in some ways by the decisions that I made. And the rewards have been just tremendous. Not in terms of, don't think in a very conventional sense about the fact that I got a Swiss bank account or a Rolls Royce car or something like that. Those are not the rewards that I'm talking about. I am talking about the satisfaction and contentment in life. I think those are the greatest rewards. You can be in a billion-dollar business and own it and still commit suicide a few years later. So those are not the best rewards. Being very, very comfortable with who you are, being very content with your life, and having a very clear conscience. And when you leave this world, you should be very clear in your mind that you have not a single regret about the way you've lived. I think that will be the real success in life. If we can achieve that, the last day when you can look back on your life and say, I don't have any regrets, how wonderful that would be. I think that is the preparation that we have to take up. Life will not grant that if we choose the easy path, the shortcut all through. And so some of these actually, they look like hard work, but as you take it up, step out of your comfort zone, it becomes easy and easy. I'll give some examples, right? It started with the SMS, and later on with all the social media, with WhatsApp and Telegram and all that. There is a great temptation to take shortcuts there and use only smileys and not use words, and use abbreviations where we can be typing full sentences. And it has become acceptable that we don't care about grammar, we don't care about formatting, etc. when we use WhatsApp and other social media platforms. And it has become so widespread. Now there is a very hidden danger to this. We lose our communication skills. We may not be aware, but surely we lose our communication skills. Other problem is, if you really dig deep, you will know how much a single comma and a full stop can make a huge difference in changing the meaning of the entire sentence. If you don't pay attention to this, then you will be oblivious to it in future. And what happens is, the same sentence, you may be thinking it has some meaning when you type it, and the person reading may give a completely different interpretation and meaning to it. So communication actually ends up becoming miscommunication. It's a real danger that's happening all through in all social platforms now. You may be wondering why there are so many problems, especially when social media is being used to negotiate relationships, whether it is romantic relationship or relationships in terms of a family or friendship, whatever it might be. You will see so many miscommunications and misunderstandings happening. I can't blame everything on grammar and punctuation and all that, but certainly those have a role to play. So the point is, all of these point to one thing, that is, do we have an attention to detail? It's very important. And it creates a great obstacle to learning if we don't have attentiveness to detail. In fact, this has become so important that in all the national eligibility tests, they have created a section for attentiveness to detail, attention to detail. Industries, the corporate world is recognizing how important it is, because generations after generations are passing on without giving importance to this attention to detail. And so when they go out to the business world or to the academic world, they find it creates so many inefficiencies. I'll give you one example without naming names. Since I was in a chairperson position earlier, I had such a difficult time with the department administrative assistants, the secretaries. A secretary is supposed to have at least a minimum ability to create and draft an email or a letter, an office memo, office communication, and so on. I found that 90% of the time, I had to spend more time than the secretary in making all the corrections to what they had done. Now, this totally defeats the purpose of that person. Now, imagine you multiply this. Suppose there's a company that has 2,000 employees and 1,500 of them don't know grammar, don't have proper written communication skills. What happens? The remaining 500 have to absorb the burden of making the corrections. So instead of them spending time on something productive, constructive, they are doing all the damage control. It totally pulls the company down in terms of productivity. So I remember once late President Kalam, he was talking about his experiences in ISRO when he was there. He said, unfortunately, even in such an organization, only 20% of the people are actually doing the bulk of the work. The remaining are just coming there for a 9-to-5 job. And yet it functions. They're able to deliver to some extent. But imagine how much more the productivity would be if everybody were to pay attention to detail. When we pay attention to detail, number one, the communication skills would improve. Two, reading comprehension would improve. And finally, most importantly, ability to think critically. The critical self-reflection, critical thinking, rational thinking would tremendously improve. Then every subject would be easy to learn, every subject. So, because of the advent of videos and TV especially, we have lost the interest in reading books. And there's a big difference between watching videos and reading books. Huge difference, which is causing an unfortunate problem. When you watch a video or a movie or a TV series, any video, you are using somebody else's imagination. When you read a book, you are applying your own imagination. And so when you watch videos all the time, you're losing the ability to create, to bring out your internal imagination capabilities. So all the creative abilities are stunted when we watch movies all the time and ignore books, reading books. So I always tell students, reading comprehension, developing that is 100 times, 1,000 times more important than CGPA, 1,000 times more important than marks. You get that, you develop that, you will be set for your entire life. That important. Now, unfortunately, these days, we have to do it in the medium of English rather than in other languages because it's the most commonly accepted language for business communication. So we have to use English. But truly speaking, fundamentally speaking, it could have been in any language, but I would recommend in English because you'll need it practically speaking. So once you have that, reading comprehension is the first step, then you develop critical thinking capabilities. And that sets you up for life.
And if you notice, in the last 3 years, many of you, first of all, Sriram, thank you for bringing the art of communication up, because I have figured out that many problems in life arise because you have a person has improperly, or has not communicated their thoughts properly, and when there was no problem, you created a problem. So very good. So that's something we have actually done a lot in the what do you call, in our ESL, where we always talk about communication, where we write a lot, all that, right? So keep doing that. It's something I still work on it. Even now, I'm like, sometimes if something happens, I look at my words and say, do they mean what I mean, what I wanted to say? And sometimes I read it and I say, no, it's not. Why did I write these words? They don't seem to mean what I'm thinking in my head. And then I have to rewrite again. Sometimes the messages I write to you guys, I don't know, sometimes I spend a week thinking through writing it and hours of editing before I send the message to you. So because you want to make sure that the words which I want to say are the true words that are coming through me. So great. Any final questions for first? Any final questions for Surya? Okay. Any final comments that any one of you? Oh, okay. Someone's raised their hand. Praneeth, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Praneeth.
Yes, I want to ask Suryanya, like, did he did any mistake in the all 4 years? Like, he want to share with us?
Mistakes. I did plenty of mistakes,
Yeah.
Praneeth, and
Yes.
mistakes are the best way to learn. So, an example for a mistake would be uh, while learning subjects, I've made mistakes. I couldn't get the work finished within time many times. Sometimes I didn't reply to the professors in time. I gave a very delayed response. I did not follow the map. Uh, Sometimes I tend to forget the deadlines and miss submission. So they keep happening, but every time I make a mistake, I make sure that I note it down. I try not to do it again. I become more conscious and try to improve.
Yes, sir. No, thank you.
Any other thoughts?
I just want to share a quote that I have always found very inspiring. It came from my grandpa a long, long time back. He said, when a thing is worth doing, it is worth doing well.
Fantastic quote, Sriram. Fantastic. And if you don't know who Sriram is, definitely do a Google search on Sriram Devanathan. Okay. He is highly accomplished.
No, not all. Instead of doing Google search, you can just WhatsApp me. That is more than enough. I just want to get to spend time with you all. That's enough.
You can. I'm telling you what you should do. Okay. You should do Google search on him and then do WhatsApp to him, because he is such an amazing guy. He was my classmate from 86 to 90. I was always inspired by him. I used to think, oh my God, he was like way ahead of. I always used to think, how could he communicate so well? How could he do this so well? It was always like I felt like I was 10, 100 steps behind him. And I was always seemed to be learning, trying to see how I can, get to where he was. And now he's at Amrita University. He's the head of the chemical engineering department. So definitely, check out and then learn from him. You will have a fantastic time learning from him, learning with him, because he's an absolute learner even at this age. So he probably will be saying, "Hey, I want to learn with you, not learn, from you or something like that." So learn with him, and So, any other thoughts before we wind up? Okay, I guess Nishita, final comments for you. Or Vinay, you want to say something? Go ahead.
I just want to thank Surya and wish him all the very best, sir, from all of us.
Thank you, Vinay.
Actually, last night we were having after Surya's party. Vinay called me and he said, we already had a party already. If suppose say 6 months from now it doesn't go to, things happen where, like, suppose say the COVID things went on for a while and they said, hey, you can't come now for another 6 months or another year. So, did we celebrate too early? And they said, no, we didn't celebrate too early, because we've already proved that he can go to US. He has a PhD scholarship. He has done it. But now his goal is, we have already decided his goal. He decided, I influenced, that his goal is Nobel Prize. So now PhD is like just a tiny step in the journey for his PhD. So now he's already thinking, okay, now what is the next step? Next step to get to that level of contribution to the world so that you'll get a Nobel Prize. So that is something which will drive you more than the PhD itself. The degree itself is less important. Is important, but it is just a tiny part of your big journey, right? So now, if you look at it this way, if you look at it from that perspective, you won't really be worried too much about a PhD right now. Yes. Right, Surya?
Yes, sir.
I put this big thing on him, Sriram. But, we, the whole ESL, will support him, will be cheering him on, will be motivating him by not only just saying words, but each of us individually will be working hard, towards our goals, towards our big, whatever we want to do, by seeing that, Surya will get motivated. Right, team?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
No, for me right now, it is not about other people motivating Surya, but now Surya is motivating other people. So I think he has accomplished something very, very special, like I said. So see, if I look at this achievement simply as somebody going to the US, every year maybe the sons and daughters of politicians and mafia, they may be going very routinely. That is not a very big accomplishment. They may be even sponsoring their children's education in the topmost university by giving an endowment and all that. They have the money, they'll do it. So where is the sense of achievement for that son or daughter? No. Right. So what Surya has achieved, it has nothing to do with his being physically there in the US. He has already achieved by demonstrating the proficiency achieved by hard work and the attitude that he has shown in getting to this particular achievement. And I think for us, the celebration is because we have all felt inspired by it. That is our celebration.
Yes, Master. Surya laid the path, created the process.
We will make many things happen. Already, I'm working on a couple of new ideas, which we will be presenting to the chemical engineering department as well. And I think it will happen because of the recent big achievement from Surya. We can now push that, saying, hey, Surya did it. Think about how great it would be if we can get another 5 people do it over the next few years. So, and then, so we are going to, so we'll present that. And I think the OUCT department might be excited to look at some new ideas which can cause more students to believe in their goals. So, Nishita, go ahead. Go ahead and end the conversation.
Okay, sir. It's an honor to have been asked to offer a vote of thanks and this session. I am so thankful to you, Suryana, for attending this session and share your experiences and thoughts. And I also thank Sriram sir for attending this session. And I thank Shravan sir for giving me this opportunity as moderator. And I thank my beloved seniors and my dear friends for attending the session and making it more interactive. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, Nishita.
That was a nice